There we go. The man from Krypton will be picked here. They're trying to juke us out with the slims here. Yep, Superman is picked. That leaves Zenio open, Malik open as well. They're going to go for Butterf. Wait, okay. That's what I thought. Zenio is going to be taken here with the
almost had a
Zephyrs.
heart attack, didn't you there? It was the Zephyrus that's going to be picked up. Now we've got Malik on the
Wonder
side.
Woman. Oh, yeah, potentially Wonder Woman here, or they may pick a Lumbar since he's not banned. So Lumbar may be a nice pickup here. Malik Lumbar will be looking pretty good. So let's see if that happens here. Oh, Finnick. Wow.
So
our first
Finnick showing for the 2018 Valor series here for the first time. That's going to be Superman, Malik, and Finnick. And now the 4-5 pick is going to be available. It looks like it's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be Wonder Woman, Tulin, or L'Oreal here. It's going to be either L'Oreal or Tulin. And Tulin's going to be picked up by the other team because he's the next best. Him and Laura are pretty even, I would say, in the meta. And Lumbar is going to be taken up by the team, and they're going to round it out with that Tulin. Oh, or Raz instead.
The melee punches of the Raz. The engage, we obviously see a heavy engage composition available. But JK, Tulin, that one's coming in.
So let's see they're going to go with a side lane. Oh, they're not going to go with... so they're going to go side lane the Zenio instead of putting on him as a support and pick Thane as a support. So honestly, both drafts look pretty good, but... Again, a team has Superman on their side.
They do, as well as that Fennec. Now, for the viewers at home that might not be as familiar with Arena of Valor than some of the other heroes that are played, let's talk a little bit about Fennec and how he really molds in with the Malik, the Lumbar, as well as that Superman and Tulin for the blue side.
Yeah, Phoenix is mobile. He has a jump that leaves a lightning trail. He has something called hidden weapons. He can also stack as well, so he clears out jungle extremely fast once he gets the stacks on there, and it kind of has a little explosion. He takes down towers really fast, so if he's focusing you, you need to back off. So that's how you play it against a Finnick. Don't let him stack on you, because if he does, he's gonna delete you. So that's how they need to play around this Finnick.
All right, flipping up to the other side, Arctic Gaming, they're the number 7 seed. We saw Vitality push SK to a game 3, so seed is essentially irrelevant on the potential in those fights. What is Arctic going to have to do to win this match?
Arctic will need to be careful in the early game and try to shut down the Finnick jungle and just play around the Superman, because Superman is going to be very strong in that side lane, so they need to play around it and punish the Finnick as much as they can.
All right, Sweej, you are 3 for 3 on the total predictions right now. Let's see if we can get you to 4 for 4.
I think so.
Who's going to get it for the Dream or Arctic?
Superman's going to get it for me.
Superman's going to have it. That's it, guys. Sweej has locked in his pick. That's going to be him saying For the Dream is going to secure that victory. We are down on the Antares battlefield for game number 1 of our last quarterfinal match for the European bracket. For the Dream taking on Arctic Gaming.
Let's see, they're going to do an invade here. Looks like they are. Arctic Gaming is posturing for some aggression, but it looks like they're not, and they're going to go back to farming here. And this is what teams do, but Finnick has the lead here. He is taking that, the blue buff, the red buff on the bottom there, and he's going to go, he then takes the red buff and then gets aggressive to go after the blue. This is a great player, because when you get the red buff, your attacks slow the enemy hero. And look at these stacks here. Boom, you see the amount of damage? Look at that, it just exploded and took the monster like that. This is what makes Finnick so good, because he can clear jungle so fast because of his passive.
So now, with a little piece of aggression, we talked to For the Dream. We said, what do you guys prefer? How is your style different from the others? And their immediate answer was the level 1 jungle invades. You obviously saw a piece of that right there. And so now, as the level 1s are turning into the level 3s, we're going to see another form.
Yeah, so you see what he threw there. It's called Thief's Mark. Once you get marked, you need to back off. That's how you play against a Finnick. That's his win condition. Thief's Mark basically increases his attack speed towards that target for 25%, and it explodes after 4 seconds, doing a lot of area damage as well. And his normal attacks do extra damage on marked targets. So this is why you don't want to get hit by the 4th stack, because the explosion is going to do so much damage, and it's going to really put you at a disadvantage against a Finnick.
Rez is on that top side of the map with that Superman. The unconventional skin, not using the normal Superman skin that we're used to seeing. He decided to change capes, the wardrobe. Flipped himself up. The normal one was in the dry cleaners. He wanted to be a little bit more stylish here for the Valor series, as the Spirit Sentinel is going to go down in favor of Arctic Gaming.
Yeah, not bad for Arctic there, getting the Spirit Sentinel, because it does give the whole team... And look how fast Finnick's going to take this dragon. Look at that, the Thief's Mark. His ultimate is the Chain Hammer Cyclone. It slows everything in his path, but Finnick's damage is so fast that the Dragon is taking like that. And this is the advantage of Finnick here. This is why he's played in jungle, because he can clear objectives and towers so quickly. But Arctic is doing a good job of countering it, getting some kills, and getting the Sentinel.
First kill goes over into the pocket of that L'Oreal with Nalians going away. And despite the strength that we've talked about For the Dream has, you still had a very solid pick rotation, especially when you can secure Wonder Woman as well as L'Oreal on the same team, and even better, securing the first blood kill over into her pockets.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see how they're going to take advantage of this Superman here, because once team fights happen and his ability to engage is going to basically set up the entire 4Dream team for a lot of damage and crowd control by Superman flying in there.
So as we're up on just over the 3-minute mark, remember the first Abyssal Dragon went over into the hands of For the Dream, and if either one of these teams can secure themselves a victory, they will move on to the semifinals that take place on Saturday. That's going to be here on Twitch, or on all of the Arena of Valor channels that we that we're broadcasting on. For the Dream, potentially wanting to keep that number 2 seed alive, they would be going up against Royal. And as we saw, every single team that has won today has definitely the potential to take home the victory.
Yeah, look at that. Look at Finnick there. He's doing so much damage to the tower. Once he puts another thief mark on that tower, he's able to take it down. Yep, once you get that 4 stack, and they're going to definitely wait and position to get this tower here because they want to push the advantage and open up the top side of the map to more map control and pressure from For the Dream. And look at Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has 1.4k gold against Malik 1.8. So that's a matchup that Wonder Woman shouldn't fall behind on. That's going to put the team at a disadvantage because she's not exerting enough side lane pressure for Arctic Gaming to be able to rotate and counter these objective pushes that you're seeing coming from For the Dream on the top side.
And so For the Dream, making sure that they keep themselves nice and cautious and pumping as much gold into that Finnick as possible. We have talked about the strength that Arena of Violet provides, as well as what his teammates can help out with them. And so a very slower start. The second half of this quarterfinal broadcast that we've had for the European side has been a lot slower paced than what we saw in the first half. These teams definitely recognizing that patience is going to help the victor in a lot of ways, as Grizzly Q is going to do a little bit of damage on a CO, but Wonder Woman is going to be forced to back away. They're going to have to reset this fight.
Yeah, Malik is good against tanks because he does true damage from his blade. Once his ability hits a hero, his blade becomes enchanted, and then when he slashes again, that does true damage. So it doesn't matter how tanky or how much armor you have, that true damage will just hit through all your defenses. And that's what makes Malik so strong and does so much damage for relatively zero item damage items.
And here's our first big scuffle of the mark. Siege weapons are out and available, but it doesn't matter because the heroes are fighting. Arena of Valor, Arena of Violet picks up his first kill. He's going to come now at 1-0-1. That's going to force the members of Arctic Gaming to go away because the Abyssal Dragon looks like it's going to be healthy in the hands of For the Dream.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful engage by Malik there. He basically landed his shock ultimate right on top of the enemy team. Was able to let Finnick get the kill on Nathane, who was kind of overextended, and then disengaged. But once Laura put her ultimate up, For the Dream disengaged perfectly. They didn't try to continue to do that fight because L'Oreal, look at that Finnick taking that tower like that. So For the Dream is playing really well against L'Oreal here because they're not basically fighting her under her ultimate.
Ensuring early objectives, especially in a game like Arena of Valor, is extremely important because the gold that the towers provide, the gold and XP that you get from both the Sentinel as well as the Abyssal Dragon are hyper important for the success of your team moving forward. 6.5 minutes into the game, that means we are past the spawning of the Darkslayer. He is there waiting and hoping for someone to come try and take him down.
Yeah, and they're going to take it fast. Finnick is building a lot of more attack items. Looks like he's building towards a Slick's Sting, which is going to increase his critical damage by 50% once you finish the item, and that's going to give Finnick so much burst damage against his opponents. So let's see what's going to happen when it comes to items that he's going to be finishing next for his tier 3.
Coming up on 7 minutes into the match, these teams are starting to get the first piece of item builds that we know they are looking for. A common trend in a majority of the matches today are these teams getting themselves patient. Aggression, obviously, is extremely important in the early game, but once after those first couple minutes of the jungle harassing happens, these teams have done a great job at resetting the fight and getting themselves into a better set. As Denalian's going to just do a little wop on Nathane, but you know, he's gonna have to be forced to just back off there.
Yeah, what Arctic needs to do here is to stop the bleeding. They need to stop giving towers over. They need to rotate to counter the Finnick. And wow, look at that Thane out. It doesn't come out in time. Zinio comes out here, and this is not a good fight here for Arctic.
I don't think they're going to want to do this. They're going to have to be forced to retreat back into their tower. You can see that damage of the Tulin being popped off. The next Abyssal Dragon is on the mark, and if For the Dream can successfully secure this third Abyssal Dragon in a row, they're going to have quite the advantage that they're looking for to potentially start taking down some towers.
Yeah, it's just, this is really good. I mean, they're playing so well and pushing tower. This is what exactly you want to do with the marksman comp with a Finnick like this. You want to just push the lane, win the towers, open up the map, and then take all the objectives you can when it comes to the Spirit Sentinel or the Abyssal Dragon. And that's exactly what they're doing here, like clockwork.
Like clockwork, indeed. As Shurko is going to have to be forced to retreat. Kappa is joining onto the fray. You can see the Zephys now. They're going down and doing their best. And just like that, look at that damage coming out of the Tulin. Arena of Violet isn't able to get the ultimate the way that he wants to, but there's the auto attacks that we know does so much damage. You can see the burst coming down. Ruiz is going to take down Rez. As Grizzly
did you see that endure by Shurko there? Shurko endured just in time, so the Zephys couldn't kill him. And then he got so much burst damage off on the Zephys. The Zephys had to back off against the Tulin. That was a really nice play and really nice timing of the endure talent there, which basically makes you immune to any damage while you're crystallized. But
the damage is still happening. You can see both of the carries for the Dream and Arctic Gaming are keeping themselves strong. You've got 1-0 and 2 in the pocket of Arena of Violet, as well as Ruiz onto this L'Oreal, which we've seen 3-0 and 0. And the longer that this game goes and the stronger that both of these carries get, the harder it's going to be in these team fights.
And Arena of Violet finished Fafnir's Talon. It has a unique passive called Dragon's Breath, which does normal attacks do additional damage that's equal to 8% of the target's current HP. That's 8% of HP gone every attack. It is negated slightly by armor though, but that percentage health damage is really good against tanks like Thane or anyone that likes to build a little extra tanky because of the percentage damage.
And we also don't want to forget the Crusader himself, the man that flies. He's not a bird, he's not a plane, he's just Superman coming onto the Antares battlefield. And just like that,
just in there,
he joins the fray, forces the members of Arctic to come back, but you're going to have a nice little engage coming out of Grizzly Q. They're going to have the tower to support them, so it doesn't look like For the Dream is going to decide to push themselves too much further, as we've got a nice little split push coming in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's to be interesting to see how For the Dream's going to combo the Finnick and the Superman here. Because Finnick has that Cyclone there. It kind of zones people out. They can't walk through it. Slows their speed. And allows them to basically split the party up or focus the person that's in the Cyclone. It is,
but we've got ourselves the next fight of the mark. It's now going to be the members of For the Dream. They're going to get themselves pushed back a little bit more, but meanwhile, Shurko is going to do into that stasis, try to get as much damage. Superman's going to join the fight as well, and this is where things are going to start to get scary for the members of Arctic Gaming. You're going to have Zunk, he's going to go down. Superman picked up a kill in the mark as well. And so now, just like that, you're going to have For the Dream. They waited, they hoped, they prayed, and it was Superman that came in, saved the day, and knocked down the 3 members of Arctic Gaming.
Yeah, he definitely came in as the savior of that team fight. And then Shurko was able to play and do damage, getting 3 kills under his belt in that fight. That was critical there. And the team was split up. Arctic was not focused on the same opponent. And look at the Superman there, pushing out the Zephys for them to focus him. What a beautiful play by Superman. He's going to do the same thing again there. And Rez is just playing Superman like he is meant to. So really nice job and really nice play, setting it up his team to delete the enemy heroes that he is moving out of position.
They weathered the storm in the onslaught of Arctic Gaming. The blizzard came, but it was For the Dream that was able to come back. Like you said, it was Rez to help him and the rest of his team. But you cannot discount the strength of the carries. Tulin as well as Fennec. Shurko and Arena of Violet respectively are 2-0 and 4 and 2-0 and 5. They're not getting killed. They're staying in good position, and they're ensuring to get off as much damage as humanly possible.
Yeah, and that's what now Arctic just needs to turtle. I mean, they cannot be fighting. They're behind significantly. 10k gold is pretty significant. That's something they can look at the stats and see how far behind they are. They need to farm and get a few more items underneath their belt here, because they don't have the damage. Like, who is the damager on this team? L'Oreal looks like she's the damager. Zephys has some damage, but that's not enough. And if you look at the items on the side of Arctic Gaming, it's just not enough damage to really secure some key kills here.
No, it's not, but you still have the onslaught of For the Dream come through the mark. Here we go. This is the Superman that we all love to watch and see. On the mark, he has 1-0 in play. He's only been not banned or played once throughout the course of the day, but now the ultimate item on the menu, it's going to be that Dark Slayer that For the Dream is going to want to get and secure. Rez is going to zone out the other members of Arctic Gaming and allow them to secure that Dark Slayer. And so now with the high ground turret down in the mid lane, all they have to do is push up these sides, wait for the minions to crash in, and they can have all the finishes. It looks like Zunk is going to get chased down. Superman's coming to the rescue.
That's his passive. When he flies towards enemies, he moves 20% faster, so you can't really escape him. Oh, wow. His ultimate got canceled. He tried to ult to his teammates, but Zenio was caught out. They're going to rotate onto him here. But the team is rotating to him. Arctic is rotating to him to help him out. But look at the amount of damage Superman is doing onto Zenio already.
And the rest of the members of For the Dream are joining onto the fray. You've got a nice little 2-3 split push. Both the carries, mind you, are on the top side of the map. Both Fennec as well as a... But it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a fight here. We've got Arctic Gaming, the 4-man knockup coming out of Grizzly Q. The tower's coming off all the damage, but the ultimate is happening by Rez. He's going to be able to pick up that kill. 4 members are down. Zunk is the only one left alive, and he's going to go down in the process as well. They've got the minion waves. They've got the kills. They've got the muscles to flex, and For the Dream keeps the dream alive, taking out Arctic Gaming.
Yeah, what a nice lumbar ultimate there by Grizzly Q. He landed multiple stuns with his Earth Shatter. I mean, this is a team that definitely is on the same page when it comes to their team fighting. And Arena Valor is just so good at the objective focus. The jungle rotations, the Abyssal Dragons, the Sentinel calls, the tower picks. Do a really good job pushing objectives, and that's how you win this game.
And not only was it the efficiency in executing on those objectives, but more importantly, it was the decision of when to go. Overzealousness is something that a lot of these teams can find themselves in a difficult position, especially as it gets later in the game with the death timers. But you take a look at the way that the members of For the Dream were able to execute, and it was very efficiently, and take a look at that scoreboard. Yeah,
look at that. And look at Arctic. They weren't able to build a lot of damage. I mean, they didn't have a lot of damage output, besides maybe L'Oreal, but you can see the side of For the Dream. Tulin had 5 tier 3 items, or 4 tier 3 and 1 tier 2. Who's doing amounts of damage, and Finnick as well. And look at the damage to heroes. Superman, Finnick, and Tulin all did similar amounts of damage, but Tulin was the one that took away the damage lead to heroes here.
And so just like that, again, it was For the... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Valor series presented by AT&T. My name is Jump. I'm joined here with Sweejay, and we had quite an astounding match there by For the Dream versus Arctic Gaming.
Yeah, Rez on that Superman, who's making such good plays. Like, that's what you want to do with Superman. He has the speed. Just get behind the enemy team, push them towards your allies, and then just delete the carry that's out of position. So really good displacement plays by Superman.
Now, obviously, Rez on that Superman was extremely powerful, but what, in your opinion, was the #1 key to victory that For the Dream was able to execute in that last match?
I think it was a mix of Tulin's team fighting capability. Shukro was amazing on Tulin, getting a lot of kills in the decisive team fights. And then Arena of Valor, of course, on Fennec, just pushing objectives, opening up map control for them, and then constantly winning the macro play, taking key objectives like Abyssal Dragon and Towers all the time.
All right, well, game number 2 is going to be starting very shortly. And so before we begin the draft phase, we've got the ban phase. We can pull that up on your screen right now. It's going to be the next set of bans. Superman is taken off the mark. Violet taken off as well. So
yeah,
2 heroes we saw in the last are not going to be on the board.
Yeah, Max is open, so that means the team that's going to first pick is probably going to take Max. This is the first time that he's not been banned, and now we get to see him in action. He's a very fun hero to play and watch.
Arctic Monkeys is taking up the blue side. They are going to be combated on the red side by For the Dream. Now, is there a world that exists where Max does not get picked first? Because we said that wasn't going to happen with Superman, but...
Yeah, you never have to pick him, though. He is literally the counter to Marksman. Like, he can basically, his lift-off ability, he targets a person, goes across the entire map, doesn't matter, flies through your allies, flies through the enemy team, and gets onto an ADC, and can use a ability that can jump behind them and just basically disable them. That is why Max is always banned, because he literally is the counter to a Marksman composition.
All right, worst-case scenario for the Dream. Max gets first picked by Arctic Monkeys. What strategy can they, or if there is even one that exists, to combat that Max?
Yeah, since you took Max, you put him in the side lane because he's really strong side lane. He has good wave clear. You didn't pick an ADC because you picked the biggest counter to an ADC. Then you play an ADC meta, right? So that's what a lot of teams do when they get Max. And the enemy team cannot play an ADC. If they do, it's really risky. However, they have to play a dive composition. They have to play an assassin composition that can get onto the backline and kill whatever ADC that the other team is picking because they have that Max.
Well, you're ruining my hopes and dreams of a Maganga ever coming out in competitive play here in the Valor series. We're going to get the hero select started very shortly, but let's talk a little bit more now about this draft strategy. Max comes through. We've got all sorts of engage heroes that have been picked throughout the course of today, but what is the priority for the side of For the Dream?
So if the team picks Max, they also want to take Omen, because Omen is the hard counter to Max. If Max decides to use Liftoff and out across the map, Omen is going to be like, wow, thank you very much, Max. I'm going to get 2 of your towers. Omen is very good at taking towers. He's going to win the duel as well. He's one of the best duelers in the game. That's why he's picked side lane in a lot of other regions like SEA. So Omen is the counter to Max. So if they're going to take Max, the other team needs to pick up Omen. Otherwise, the team that picked Max is going to take the Omen and the Violet, or ADC, sorry, so that they have a good composition that doesn't counter what they have.
Let's take it out a little bit. Let's broaden our horizons. Hero picks, essentially, these are going to happen the way that they're going to happen, but team strategy is something that's also going to have to change for potentially both of these teams. Is there anything that the members of For the Dream can continue to do to put themselves into that 2-0 and secure their semifinal slot for Saturday?
Yeah, what they can do is continue to push their objective game. They're playing it so well. In this game, if you get early objectives like they did last game, they're going to put themselves in a good position. And their Max is taken. Are they going to take Laura and Omen here or just leave Omen open? But Lumbar or maybe a support will be picked up here. So let's see if they're going to take the Lumbar because Teamy is just not available. So I think Lumbar will probably be picked up here on the side of For the Dream.
L'Oreal has been picked up right off the mark. You don't want that combination, and so it's going to be...
Oh, the Lindis is picked up. Wow,
L'Oreal Lindis, we talked about this combination early.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to see it, but now it's up for the side of For the Dream.
Yeah, this is risky because Max is so good at getting onto that Lindis. She's an ADC. However, you do have a L'Oreal, so if Max is going to ult on top of the Lindis and try to fly over there, L'Oreal can just use her ultimate and basically counter the dive. But that takes a lot of strategizing and synergy to do that. So Zenio will be picked up along with Wonder Woman. Very strong side lane. I feel like Ryoma may be picked up here along with the Lumbar. on the side of, yep, there we go, on the side of Arctic Gaming, and that's going to leave the last pick, Malik potentially on the side, or Omen even. Omen, if they pick Omen, is a really good pick against the Max to counter him.
Yeah, but
instead,
we're going to see, however, they still have 10 seconds left remaining. They don't have to go for the Mina just yet. We know that
probably
they're
Mina,
having
because they're going to side lane
conversations.
the Zinio. Yeah, it's probably going to be a Mina here.
Yep, there you go. It is going to be the Mina. The picks have been locked in for game number 2. It's going to be Arctic Gaming on the blue side going up against For the Dream. Now, what are we thinking? What are we thinking?
I really like Max, but it's, again, Arena of Violet on Lindis. I think For the Dream is better at team fighting, so I think they're going to push the early game. Lindis is really strong in the early game, and they're going to win that early game fight and basically out-pressure Arctic Gaming.
So it doesn't matter about the Max, does it?
No, it doesn't, because I think they're going to counter him because of the picks they picked. Zenio is going to protect Lindis from the Max. Valor is going to ult on top of Lindis, so I think they got this to counter what Max wants to do.
All right, well, you're holding strong to the predictions that you had. Remember, if you want to get in on the conversation over the course of the next 6 weeks throughout the broadcast each day, we're going to be wanting to know what you guys think at home. So make sure you hit Twitter with the hashtag Valor Series to let us know what you think about the broadcast, about the games, and whether you think Suijay is as smart as he thinks he is. So we're going to get games started very, very shortly. So, all right, Suijay, you obviously have a lot of faith into For the Dream, but let's flip it over to the sides of Arctic Gaming.
Let's play
with the
devil's
draft
advocate.
that they have. Is there a chance?
Yeah, they absolutely have a chance. I mean, Max, the key to Max is when he goes in and does liftoff, you have to go in with him.
And so with that, we are going to get right into game number 2. It's going to be Arctic Gaming on the blue side taking on For the Dream on the red. This is our last quarterfinal match for the European bracket here at the Valor Series, presented by AT&T.
Yeah, you see with Max here, the one thing that makes him really good too against L'Oreal as well is he has a passive called Static Shock. So every time he damages an enemy, it reduces their HP regen speed by 25%. So he's actually pretty good if he's able to land that. You see the lightning on the Wonder Woman? That decreases her HP regeneration, so he actually counters heroes that have a lot of lifesteal or get lifesteal from their abilities, like a L'Oreal, for example.
And so now, with Arctic Gaming having their backs up against the wall, they're going to have to do everything they can. We're seeing Max for the first time on Arctic Gaming, the first time of today, being 100% banned, now still 100% pick banned.
So one thing I like about it, we talk about vision and vision being so important in the game. When Max activates his ult liftoff, you see where every single enemy is on the map, and he can also cancel recalls too. So if someone is really low and they're trying to recall, he can activate liftoff and then fly to them to get the kill. And we're gonna be probably seeing some of that in this game, and that's gonna be really, really exciting to watch. But that's what makes him so good, because he gives team-wide vision against the enemy team because of his ultimate, which is a crazy mechanic that he has as a hero.
It is indeed, as 4 of the 5 members for Arctic Gaming are on the top side of the map, ensuring that the early game aggression that we know For the Dream is extremely capable of isn't capable of doing it at all. And so now we're also going to get to see Fennec on the other side of the mark here, as it looks like that Spirit Sentinel is going to go down just over the 2-minute mark. Now we have the Abyssal Dragon on the menu, someone that they can go for, as it looks like they're just going to allow Max to just sit on this side wave and continue to get himself farmed up.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Arctic Gaming's draft. It's so strong. I mean, everything about their composition is looking pretty good. And so far, they're doing really well in the early game here. They're not losing objectives. They're putting more pressure, actually, against For the Dream, which was the opposite last game. So they're doing a really good job of not losing the early aggression.
And so now the Abyssal Dragon is probably going to be our first point of major contention, as it looks like both For the Dream and Arctic Gaming are going to be knocking that down. Who's it going to go down to? Kappa is going to pick it up for the side of Arctic Gaming, but the aggression of For the Dream continues. You've got the 3-man knockup coming from the side of Arctic Gaming. They're going to try to do everything they can, but they're going to be forced to disengage, as Grizzly Clue and the rest of For the Dream are pushing them away. Set of a reset health bars are low, but it was that Abyssal Dragon that went to Arctic Gaming.
Yeah, Arctic Gaming, nice job. Nice punish there by Arctic Kappa there. He was able to time it perfectly to secure the Abyssal Dragon for his team, which puts him at a decent level lead here. You notice he got level 6 before everyone else. So with this advantage, they got to push it and make sure that they now start to snowball and take a first tower, open up the map for themselves, and then continue to push objectives like the Finnick did in last game, who was on their opposing side.
So now, as we reset ourselves, we see another 4-man collapse onto the top side of the map. They're going to get themselves that Vision Bird because they want to secure everything they can. And this is where the precision of Arctic Gaming has been increased from the last match. They're going to secure themselves a very early Tier 1 tower and a great rotation and a recognition of the location.
But they're going to trade here. For the Dream is going to take the mid tower here and trade the top for mid, which is exactly what you want to do in a situation like this. And they're going to let the minion finish off that tower there. Does it though? Oh, it does not. They should have waited and auto-attacked it one more time to get that mid tower, but they do not trade towers. And this is a little bit of a slight setback for the Dream here. And then the second Spirit Sentinel goes over to Arctic Gaming.
700 gold lead in favor of Arctic Gaming. They're going to have a little bit of time to work with and put themselves in a little bit of a better situation, seeing what Fourth do.
Yeah, so we see here Lindis is waiting in the bush there. She's going to try to poke down that tower and take it low, but it looks like it's not enough damage to do that. And Tulin is in the mid by himself there, but we're going to see the fight here on the bottom of the Abyssal. They're poshing around it. They're trying to pick, yeah, but they're going to force the Abyssal Dragon fight here.
2 early Abyssal Dragons for Arctic Gaming could spell a huge advantage for them. They're going to be coming very low. Kappa picks up his second Abyssal Dragon of the game for Arctic Gaming, and that's going to be for the Dream. Wanting to get themselves some kills, but a great jump over the wall is going to put Arctic Gaming nice and safe for the Dream, unable to capitalize.
Yeah, and that was interesting. Mina missed her Death Sith pull there, and also L'Oreal ulted. So if maybe they had the ult and used it earlier for that Abyssal Dragon fight, it may have been different because you're basically forcing the opponent to fight under your ultimate to try to contest the dragon against you. But look at this rotation here by For the Dream. It's going to work out really nicely for them, and Frika is going to be taken out very quickly because of that overextension.
And so now Arctic Gaming has secured themselves a little piece of a lead. For the Dream has done a great job in keeping themselves farmed up, as well as ensuring that every opportunity that they get, they're going to keep up in this gold efficiency, as we are coming up very close to the biggest item on the menu here on the Antares battlefield, and that's going to be the Dark Slayer.
Yeah, the good news is For the Dream is not behind that much in gold. The item advantage is pretty much on parity. If you look at the item being built now, everyone's finishing their kind of tier 2, tier 3, second tier 3 item. And you can see that Lindis has about the same amount of gold as Finnick. And that's a good kind of indicator to see how far ahead or behind you are. It's comparing both your junglers. And if they're even, most likely the gold is going to be pretty even overall as well.
It is, and so now the pings are coming out. The collapse is happening from the side of For the Dream. Freak is going to cut out. He's going to get a nice 3-man stun. Rez is being forced to have to move where he wants to be. Arena of Violet and the rest of the team are coming. This is going to be a 4v4 situation, 5v4 situation rather, for the Dream in the lead. They do not have a minion wave to work with, and there's also a lot of CC on the side of Arctic Gaming, so they're not capable just quite yet of pushing that bot lane turret.
Yeah, there was an interesting engage. It was a nice disengage by Arctic Gaming there. A really good job on Frika there to land a 3-man Lumbar Earthshatter onto the enemy team, knocking them up and slowing their collapse so that his allies are able to disengage and escape just in the nick of time. And look at them. For the Dream is posturing around the dragon here. They're doing a really good job setting it up. And let's see if they're going to be able to take it here. But it looks like they're not going to focus it.
They're going to have to make sure that they're super careful, because if Arctic Gaming secures themselves a 3rd Abyssal Dragon in the world, disaster could potentially be spelled. You can see everything very low. And Arena of Valor is able to take that.
Wow.
Going to force the disengage by Arctic, and just like that, we were terrified.
That was a nice cyclone too. I mean, the side of Arctic Gaming, Kappa put a nice cyclone to zone them out so that they would not be able to get close to the Abyssal Dragon and auto attack it. But still, Arena of Violet was able to get a trick shot off with and basically get it without even punish. He didn't even use the punish, actually. He used an auto attack to get it, and that was a very nice timing from the side of For the Dream.
He did indeed, and so now we have a very even match. from both of these teams. Both Arctic as well as For the Dream have been doing a fantastic job at ensuring that every step of the way, they're not overcommitting. Overcommitting in Arena of Valor is one of the worst decisions any team can make because of how quickly teams are capable of taking down the defense turrets. So as a result, we can see both of these teams playing cautious. For the Dream ends up losing themselves their second tower of the game, but all the while they're keeping themselves up in gold.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I do like is Max is facing Zenio in the top lane together. They're kind of even because if Max ults away, guess what? Zenio has a global ultimate, angelic ultimate that he can just basically ult towards where Max is going to protect the person that Max is focusing. So Zenio actually is a pretty decent counter against the Max there because of both of them having these global ultimates, and they're just basically canceling each other out. So we're going to have to look for that when the next major team fight happens.
The ultimate form of chess, as either one of these players can help or hinder their enemy team depending on the state of the situation. Another tower goes down, second in favor here for the Dream, and despite the early scuffles, despite the loss of 2 early Abyssal Dragons, they've been able to secure themselves a 600 gold lead at just over 9 minutes.
Yeah, and they gotta watch, like, Arctic Gaming gave away a tower there, and they need to watch how the waves are being pushed. What wave control is so important in this game because it tells you how aggressive the enemy team is going to be. If they're gonna shove the wave on bottom, most likely the rest of the team is rotating and collapsing on bottom lane to get that tower and secure it. So that's something that they definitely need to watch out for.
Abyssal Dragon number 3 has been taken for Arctic. That's 3 of the 4 in the first 10 minutes. And so Arctic Gaming is doing everything they can to keep themselves off and to tie this match. But For the Dream has been doing just a valiant effort.
Yeah, and look, they're giving another tower away for no reason. This is they're not behind. They're even. They've gotten 3 dragons over 1 dragon that For the Dream got. So Arctic is actually a little bit ahead in my book, and they're giving away these free towers for no reason. I feel like that's something they shouldn't be doing.
Looking at the efficiency that For the Dream is capable of committing across every piece of this map really raises the question of Arctic Gaming, despite the fact that they're prioritizing these Abyssal Dragons, they need to shift their direction over because as it stands right now, yes, they're getting the gold, they're getting the efficiencies, but unless you take down those towers, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, this game is all about the objectives. You know, you get the early game objectives mid-game, you put a lot of pressure on the map, and then you win these team fights in the late game. That's the key there. And so far, the objective game in the early and mid phase of this match is being won by For the Dream. And now we're pretty much in late game. I mean, after Darkslayer is up, it's pretty much late game, but this is pretty late as it's 11-minute mark. So the next team fight is going to decide who is going to come ahead.
Starting to see the big power spikes, 3 items starting to get completed for many members on Arctic Gaming as well. As For the Dream, as you can see the posturing, and here we go. This is the fight that we've all been waiting for. 11 minutes into the match, Grizzly Q's going to get himself caught up, and that is a lot of damage from the side of Arctic Gaming. Ruiz on that Tulin's going to be able to pick it up. Denalians is going to have to be forced to run away. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a stun. It's going to be a kill. Kappa picking that one up.
Yeah, and look at that play there. Nice job, Arctic, just catching For the Dream out of position there and taking advantage of Zenio, because if Zenio is focused, he cannot ult away. A stun can basically cancel his ultimate, and the Darkseid is taken by Wonder Woman. Wow!
They're able to pick that one up. Shurko's able to kick down the kill onto Rez, and look at the health bars of the Arctic members.
Goodness.
It's going to be kill after kill. Shurko's going to have to be forced to go away. He has the damage, but he doesn't have the team to protect him. Health bars are low. Health bars are scary, but it's going to be that Dark Slayer. Oh my goodness, that's going to be Shurko picking up that kill, and now it's going to be the members of For the Dream on a roll.
That was such a game-changing play. You know, the Wonder Woman, Rez, again, being played Superman, but now it's Wonder Woman. He gets in there, secures the Darkslayer. L'Oreal gets a huge damage amp, out on top the plit, and then just delete the health bars of the entire Arctic Gaming team, turning that fight completely around.
And so now at just over 12 minutes into the game, what looked like the start of a disaster for the Dream is completely changing in as their priority for objectives, as well as that Dark Slayer has put them in a much better position. Spirit Sentinel is going to go down, and now here comes their aggression into the enemy jungle. Sherko, look at the damage that Laurel provides, 3, 0, and 0.
Yeah, she has her 4 items. This is enough items for her to carry pretty significantly with Hekate's finished. Gives her a good amount of pierce and the ability power, 30% more ability power damage there. So let's see what they're going to do with this here. And they're going to try to get to, yep.
And this
Linus
is where
on the turret here, and they need to stop her and get her off that turret.
This is where things
like
could potentially be scary. Opening up the inner circle of Arctic Gaming's towers are going to be very deadly if they're not careful of doing so. Denalians is going to decide to go back. He wants to get health bars up, back to full. Abyssal Dragon is going to go down, and here we go for the Dream, starting to push themselves out. It was even, but now they've secured themselves a 3,000 gold.
Yeah, it's really because For the Dream is getting just more map control. I mean, they have more pressure, and Arctic is playing more scared, and they shouldn't be. They're not that behind. If you look at the items, it's not that bad. It's back and forth, actually. And because of how they're playing and how they're giving up map control,
and look at
Arctic
that.
is losing the lead.
You saw that gold. The charts, like we said, it was back and forth, and then things started turning out in its head at the beginning of that Dark Slayer. And so now, every little whittle, every little piece of HP taken away from that inner turret is exactly what the members of For the Dream are wanting. And here they are. Arctic Gaming is going to go on themselves a nice little defense. Rez going to do a lot of damage, take a lot of turret shots, but it doesn't matter because the team is there to help out in the wayside. The damage of Sherko is unbelievable. The onslaught is real.
Yeah,
as
and
For
again,
the Dream.
she has her smite up. Her judgment circle is up, and you cannot try to contest L'Oreal there with her ultimate. And Tulin paid the price by trying to do that. And look at this rotation from For the Dream. Again, just a late game, beautiful positioning there from For the Dream. They're able to get the kill and then take 2 towers for 2 kills. It's such a positive trade for them.
And it all relies on the positioning that Sherko has had throughout the entirety of this match thus far. We've seen L'Oreal's fail, we've seen L'Oreal's rise to the occasion, and he is doing just the latter. As the high ground turret is getting taken down here, Sherko's going to take a little bit of damage off of it, about 25% HP left, but this is where For the Dream is starting to take control.
Yeah, and Lindis has that Frost Cape, and 3 members of the side of For the Dream has Frost Cape. That is so much slow and CC, along with the knockup, along with Mina, Taunt, and Death Sit that can pull in an enemy hero. They have such great CC potential here on the side of For the Dream, and that makes him a little more dangerous.
And so here we are, coming up on the 15.5-minute mark. A little bit of a reset, but more importantly, it is For the Dream gathering their resources for the push that is about to happen. You've got the Abyssal Dragon that is up. They can secure themselves a little bit of extra gold, even themselves up at 3 and 3. Almost every member on the map is up to that illustrious level 15, which is going to max out their abilities, and this is where the members of For the Dream are going to start being scary.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Arctic has the max. They need to hard engage with the max together and get his static shocks onto the L'Oreal so she doesn't have as much lifesteal and HP recovery from her abilities and passive. So they need to be much more decisive here and try to go in or bait out the L'Oreal ultimate. And when it's down, they need to then hard engage. So let's see what they're going to decide to do here to try to turn this around against For the Dream.
So here is the big opportunity for the Dream to crack open the base of Arctic Gaming. Going to be about 10% HP. They might decide to just finish the turret. They do. The high ground turret is completed, and here's where the fight starts to begin. For the Dream is pushing themselves onto the back line. Zunk is trying to do his best to kite back, but he's down too low. He can't do anything. Arena of Violet picks up the kill onto Frika, and that's going to be 2 members of Arctic Gaming down. That's going to be one of the carries, and just like that, it's going to be For the Dream taking away that 2-for-0 kill. Now they're pushing on the top high ground turret.
Yeah, such a nice fight by For the Dream. They stayed in it, even though they were getting low. The Hues were used at the right time. Ultimates, L'Oreal.
Dominating.
I mean, just really nice fighting by For the Dream there.
Dominating effort here by Sherko. Arena of Violet was the one we talked about the entirety of the pregame. We were expecting him to pop off. The skills have been done, but it's been Sherko that has carried the last couple games on this L'Oreal.
Yeah, just doing such a good job there. Him and, like I said, Sherko and Arena Violet were the key. The way that they focus and they protect each other and do damage together is really turning it. And Rez is setting up these plays as Wonder Woman. He's doing such a good job as a side laner to set up his carries for success. So really nice play overall by For the Dream.
Coming up at the 17.5-minute mark, full builds are starting to get finished, and both of these teams will have the max potential for the compositions that they drafted right before the beginning of this game. The Abyssal Dragon is up and available, but more importantly, the Dark Slayer is here. And at this stage in the game, with the death timers as high as they are, one bad move from either team could spill death.
Yeah, that's an interesting item I want to point out. The Finnick, Kappa got Hyoga's Edge, which is a defensive item. It gives 100 ability power and magic defense and 1200 HP. And the normal attacks basically allows the wearer's attack speed increases by 10% and reduces the target's movement speed by 25% for 2 seconds. But that's a really interesting item on Finnick. Finnick is an attack damage hero, and you don't really need the magic damage or the slow from Hyoga's Edge. So that's a very interesting item that he decided to build there on Finnick.
So now for the Dream, wants that dream to become a reality. Dark Slayer makes that even more of a possibility, as now they've got the pushing power. You've got 2 high ground turrets. You've got Grizzly Q on the bottom side of the map trying to get that split push going. Multiple members are going to come down to try to contest that, but that's going to leave the base wide open and a horrible disadvantage to happen. Shurko and Rez are near the bottom side of the map. They're going to rotate on the inside. Denalians is going to get himself a little piece of the poke.
Oh,
that's
nice
going to be the double knockup, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Zunk is going to get down very low. Zunk is actually going to go zoink, and he's going to die. Freakin' might be the next on the menu. He's going to go down as well. That's going to be 3 members, and it looks like it's going to be the core as the final finish, and our 4th and final semi-finalist is going to be decided. It's going to be Arctic Gaming going down for the Dream, turning that dream into a reality and securing their spot in the semifinals.
Yeah, that was a key there. One thing Arctic Gaming did do is Lombard landed a beautiful ultimate, Earth Shatter, onto Lindis, and that's their chance to go in. Max should win, and everyone should have went in all in, delete the Lindis, and could have turned the fight around, but they weren't able to capitalize on that. For the Dream, basically takes advantage of that and wins this key fight.